Hello viewer, welcome to my another session of MS Excel Macro 2010. In my previous session, I have explained arrays and static and dynamic arrays. So here we are going to see the one-dimensional array and the two-dimensional array. So the content of this session is objective of the session, demo for one-dimensional array and demo for two-dimensional array, and use of the option-based key. So option based key is used to change the default index of 0 for array to 1 or any number you want to start from. So objective of the session is, after this session you will learn how to declare one-dimensional array, how to declare two-dimensional array, and how to assign values to one-dimensional arrays and two-dimensional arrays, and then use of option based keyword. To get started, we will go into the Excel workbook, and as you can see in the Excel workbook there are three tabs. One is summary, one is stock, and one is employee name. I will explain you why I have taken these data and what are we going to do in this. As you can see, I have created 4 buttons using the control forms of the Visual Basic editor. So as I have explained in my earlier session how to create control buttons using the insert option of form control and ActiveX control. So here in this case I have used form control, the button of form control, so that now our objective and our task is to create 4 subroutines, wherein after clicking available fruit button you will get the list of available fruits in stock, and the same way for vegetables and flowers. And once you click on display employee button, the name of the employees will get displayed over here. Now we will go to the Visual Basic editor. Just click on Visual Basic tab. Now we are into the Visual Basic editor tab. Here you can see I have written 4 subroutines for all 4 buttons using all the codes which I have explained in my previous sessions. So in this session I'll be explaining for each subroutines what we have done here. So first of all we will go with the one-dimensional array. So for one-dimensional array, as you can see I have started with subroutine display employee name, and here I have declared one variable I as integer and then j as integer, and then I have declared dim employee names and in bracket, opening bracket and closing bracket, and then the string data type, meaning I have declared this as an array and not provided any length, so it is a dynamic array. We are going to assign values to the dynamic array in the later codes, in the later lines. So now you can see worksheet summary dot range A2 colon A1000 dot clear contents. This is doing nothing but clearing the contents from A2 to A1000. And then you can see worksheets employee name dot activate. That means we are selecting employee sheet of the workbook, and then I'm selecting A1 of the worksheet employee name, meaning our active selection will be in cell A1. And after that I'm doing nothing but just placing my active selection from start to the end of the data, meaning you can see this is the cell 1 and the end of the data is cell A18. So our active selection will be placed by that code to A18. So this way, and then j equals to active cell dot row, meaning the current selection row number is assigned to variable J, and then we are activating the summary sheet and then assigning a value in cell A1 as employee names, because we are executing display employee name subroutine. So once you click on that button, the A1 cell will show you that we are going to display the name of employee. So employee name will be printed in cell A1 of summary worksheet. And now I'm just using the for next loop, and you can see for assigning values to dynamic arrays later in the quotes, you need to use the word redeem and then preserve and then employee names, that is the array name, and J is nothing but the value assigned to it. So this way employee names I minus 1, as you can see our index number will start with 1 as we have used option base 1. So and here in for loop I am passing values from 2. So that means I will have the starting value 2, but our index number will start from 1. So for making it 1, I am just subtracting 1 from I, so that every time it will be subtracted by 1. So first value for I will be 2. So in this case it will be 1. So for it will start for index number 1, and then I am assigning the value of I1, that is nothing but cell 2 and column 1, that is the row number 2 and column number 1. So basically what I'm doing here, I'm just assigning all the values in the index in the array which is there on the sheet employee. So this way all the values existing in the worksheet employee will be assigned to our array, and after that I am just displaying again by using the for next loop. And you can see I have used the same variable name here, I equals to 2 to j. That means you can use this way, because here again the I will be reassigned the values from 2 to j. So worksheet summary dot range a, and then the I value whatever would be there at that time, and then here you can see employee names I minus 1, meaning whatever the value of I will be there. So the starting value for I will be 2, but we need to display the array index from 1. So for that I'm just making here the value to 1 by subtracting 1. So this way we are displaying the employee name. So first we are assigning the employee name to the array employee names, and then after that we are displaying the values, the elements stored in employee names array. So now we will test this subroutine. For that, go to the Excel workbook. Now we will go to the Excel workbook. Here what will we do? We will assign that macro to display employees button. So for assigning a macro, just right click on it and just select assign macro, and here the first one we will assign to this button and say OK. Now we will run it by just clicking on this button. Just click on this button. Now you can see all the employee names have been displayed here. So this way the one we have seen how to declare one-dimensional array, how to assign values to the dynamic array, what is the redeem and preserve. Redeem means we are redeclaring while assigning the value, and preserve means we are keeping the value once pushed into the array and then appending the new values to it. So that is what we use preserve value. If we will not use the preserve value, then what will happen? The latest value will remain there in the array, but the previous value will be deleted. So for keeping the previous value in the array, we need to use preserve keyword. Now we will see the another subroutine. For that, go to the Visual Basic editor. Now you can see I have written the subroutine fruits. Here basically what I am doing, I am just declaring one variable column name as integer data type, and then dim stocks as string, meaning I am declaring a dynamic array variable stocks of string data type, and then declaring one more variable I as integer data type, and then making the cell values cleared from A2 to A1000, and then worksheet stocks dot activate, meaning activating the stock worksheet, and after that selecting the cell B1, meaning the active cell will be placed at B1, and after that just doing the activity of pressing Control plus right arrow key, so that our active cursor will be placed at the end of the existing dataset towards right direction. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here you can see what were we doing there by that code. First we were placing the active selection at B1, and after that we were just pressing Control down arrow key. So this manual activity of pressing Control plus down arrow key, Control plus right arrow key, we were doing through the code selection dot end Excel to right dot select. So this activity we are doing through the code, and then once we are placed to the end of the data set toward right direction, then we are assigning the active cell column number to the column name variable, and then activating the summary sheet, and then again redeclaring the stock array and using preserve keyword, wherein we are now defining the length of the arrays. So here the first value will be 3, and the another value will be call name minus 1, meaning if the active column number will be 5, then it will become 4. So meaning we are declaring the array the length of 3 and 5, so 3 rows and 5 columns. Now again we are using the for next loop, wherein for I equals to 2 to column name, meaning the loop will be run through 2 and the last value assigned to the column name, and here we are assigning values in the 2-dimensional array. This we are doing for 2-dimensional array. So here the row and column criteria will be existing. So first will be the row number and the second will be the column number. So for row number we are keeping the row number 1, and for column number we are assigning it dynamically. So whatever value will be assigned to I might subtract 1, because I's value is starting from 2, but the index of the array would start with 1. So for making it 1, we will subtracting 1. So as and when the increment will be done, it will always be subtracted by 1 for each value. And then we are assigning the values in each cell moving towards right direction. That means starting from B1 to column E1. So this way all the values will be assigned to row 1 of array stocks. And after that you can see worksheet summary dot range a1 dot value equals to fruits, meaning if the fruits button will be clicked, so the first a1's value will get changed to fruits, and after that we are again using the for next loop, and wherein we are displaying the values stored in the stock array for row number 1 for each element. Now we will see this. For that, go to the Excel workbook, and here we will go to the summary, and here for fruits we will assign the macro which we just talked about. For assign macro, just click on assign macro and the fruits. So we will assign the fruits macro to fruits button. Just click on OK. Now we will see, once we will click on fruits button, all the fruits belonging in row 1 of the array will be displayed. Just click on available fruits. Now you can see all the fruits on row 1 is displayed here: apple, banana, pineapple, watermelon. So this way we will declare two-dimensional array and assign values to the two-dimensional array. But here in our scenario we have not assigned the all rows value, meaning we have assigned only values for row 1. Rest row 2 and row 3 are still left. So for row 2 we will assign value of vegetables. Then go to the Visual Basic Editor. Now we will see here we have used the same code, only the difference is that as this macro will be assigned to button available vegetables, and the values of row 2 will be stored in the array. So for that I have used here, you can see the index number 2 and then same as in fruits subroutine. So only the difference is there. In subroutine fruits we have assigned values for row 1, and here we are assigning values for row 2. Now we will go back to the Excel workbook and assign the macro vegetables. Now we will run this. Now you can see the values for row number 2 for vegetables has been displayed here. So this way we have assigned values in dynamic array, two-dimensional array, the values of vegetables. Now we will see, we will assign the values of third row for flowers. So for that just go back to the Visual Basic Editor and we will see the another subroutine which we have used for flowers, and here you can see the code is same as for fruits and flowers, but the only thing is that we are assigning values for row number 3. That means in stock array we are assigning values for row number 3. So we are picking up the values from row number 3. And same way we have used the next for next loop for displaying the values of row number 3. Go back to the Excel workbook. Now we will assign macro to macro of flowers to the flower button. Here now we have assigned the flower macro to available flowers button. Now we will test it. Just click on available flowers and you can see after clicking flower button the values displayed here for flowers and the header row is getting changed. So this way you have seen how we have declared one-dimensional array and assigned the values to it, and how we declare two-dimensional array and assign values to it, and how all the macros are assigned to the buttons here, and after that we are running it. Now you can see we will click on each of the button and see how the outputs are getting default. Now I have clicked on display flowers, so details of employees are being displayed. Available flowers, flowers detail, available vegetables detail, available fruits detail. So this way we can do lot of useful activities with the help of macro. Thank you, viewer.